is Andrew Lim inviting you to go out on a limb. So we are in downtown Willemstad here in Curaçao. We're just gonna go check out Curaçao. So come go out on a limb with me in this Dutch capital. Should I call it Dutch capital? In this capital of a Dutch colony, maybe? Yeah. They hold, the Netherlands passports here, so I guess you can call it a Dutch colony. Folks, before we start, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notify button for new contents that I upload weekly. Thank you. So I have to apologize to the Curaçaoans because obviously Curaçao is not a Dutch colony. It's part of the Netherlands. It's like a member, much like Scotland to the UK. So obviously I didn't do my research when I was doing the introduction part. So my deepest apologies to the Curaçaoans. So we're now on the Queen Anne's Bridge, which is a popular site here in when you're in Willemstad. So since this is a floating bridge, it actually moves as you walk on this bridge. So yeah, it's really unique. So after crossing the bridge, you come to the historical downtown filled with unique Baroque style with the Caribbean flair buildings, all with vibrant colors, of course. And Curaçao is home to about 155,000 people, and of course most of them live here in Willemstad. And in fact, after the slaves were freed, most of them actually moved to Willemstad for job opportunities. So obviously this is where most of the people on the island live, and it's filled with a lot of unique history, a lot of outdoor cafes, a lot of restaurants, and a lot of live music, which is what I love. But in the Punda district, along this river, was used to be where the Venezuelan fishermen came on their boat to sell their fresh catch of the day. But unfortunately, because of the political situation today, they are no longer here. But instead, you have local vendors selling fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, which is equally impressive. And at the end of that road along the river, you find a building, a round building, and in it you find fresh produce and food being sold as well. But you also have a mix of the souvenirs that, basically the target here are tourists. You get a lot of tchotchkes and souvenirs to bring home with you as well when you visit this round market. And in the old part of Willemstad, you also find supermarkets, sizable supermarkets run by Chinese immigrants that interestingly speak Cantonese. So they must have come from the southern part of China, from the Guangdong district. So it's really interesting. I think what really fascinates me, I actually only found out when I was here, was that Curaçao is home to the oldest Jewish temple in the Western Hemisphere. I mean, that's really, really impressive. So this synagogue was built by Jewish immigrants from Spain fleeing persecution even way back in the 1400s. Yeah, I know, can't believe that. But this synagogue was built in 1732, making this the oldest synagogue in the New World. It's really impressive. I actually didn't know this even before I came here. So inside the synagogue was really spacious, but what really caught my attention was the sand floor, and that's the reason why the floor was all filled with sand. The first reason was that the traditional Spanish or even Portuguese synagogues, it's really modeled after the encampment, where the forefathers established in the Sinai desert during their 40 years of wandering from Egypt to the Promised Land. So in keeping up with that tradition, the floor was actually filled with sand. And also the second reason was relating to the origins of the congregants, whose ancestors were, for the most part, secret Jews living in Spain during the Inquisition, until their immigration to, Curaçao, that they had to keep up with this practice where, hoping that the sand would muffle the sound of their prayers, and hence the sand floor in the synagogue. Attached to the synagogue is a little museum that you can visit. It's actually included in part of the mission. You have to go through this courtyard to enter, really cute courtyard. And unfortunately, inside the museum, photography is not allowed, but all I can tell you is there are tiny and narrow staircases involved going up and down the museum. So consider yourself warned. So Curaçao, Willemstad is filled with really colorful buildings, vibrant colors. I think that's the main theme that I got, aside from the unique history, is that everywhere you go, you're greeted by buildings of different colors. I think the architecture is really unique as well. It has a, some of it has a Baroque flair, some of it has a 1950s flair, but all filled with vibrant colors that, in fact, I think in certain parts of Willemstad, the government requires the residents to repaint their building with vibrant colors every 2 years, and hence the color remains really fresh. And if you really like to enjoy this kind of buildings, I think one neighborhood that you should visit in downtown Willemstad is the Punda district. So here you find all these unique cafes and boutique hotels and restaurants, that actually takes up all these colorful buildings that I really enjoy. So it's a really good, for architectural buff, this is really a good district to walk around and admire the different buildings. So on the other side of St. Anna Bay, you find Otrobanda district. So this is a district where, actually, I think it's more localized, less touristy. This is where the locals come and actually shop. It has unique buildings as well, like this one. It looks like, a building from the 1950s or 60s. And also, there are some colorful homes and unique architecture in this part of the area as well that you can admire. So all in all, I think, it's definitely worth coming to Willemstad, because Curaçao is not just filled with beautiful and pristine beaches. You can actually enjoy the architecture as well as the fascinating history of this island as well. So when you come to Curaçao, do not give Willemstad a miss, because it's actually worth coming to Willemstad, which is the capital of Curaçao, for a tour.